Hi Marlina, it's Ashley. So this week we just had to go over what makes a competent counselor and how we would address or an approach an incompetent counselor and if we were a lead counselor. So I just wanted to go over a few points that I had noticed that stood out to me in your discussion. So the first one was an incompetent counselor weakens the program, which is good. Um, Isabel kind of mentioned this in her discussion as well, where it creates a ripple effect. When an incompetent counselor is not doing her job, it creates a ripple effect. It's not only her job that she's not doing well, it's just the way it flows onto the whole entire school because she is a part of administration and a big part and role of the campus. And so an incompetent counselor would weaken the program. Um, and like how you had mentioned, students would receive inconsistent services, which I think is key because, for example, you plan to. I'm going to use my. I'll go there right now. Hold on. You plan to meet with students every other week for counseling guidance lessons, but you are not doing that part. You are giving the students inconsistent service guidance lessons, and you're not providing them with the support they needed and the teachers they need, and giving them those social emotional guidance and reflective opportunities. So for example, the counselor at my school, she is kind of, I think very highly of her, but and I know that what she's doing is because it's what the district has her do and what the administration kind of work together to have her do. And she does not meet with our students. I think we've only seen her twice. I've mentioned this already in our classrooms giving guidance lessons, and I actually did vocalize that to my counselor and my admin yesterday when we had a meeting, not in a negative way, but in a the students need this opportunities too. They need to be talked about different lessons and being able to reflect on these important topics, but not being able to give those students consistent guidance lessons. You're not meeting them where they are. And then this could eventually just go into a crisis or just affect them as they get older, by not giving them those opportunities and being exposed to these kinds of lessons and different services. The next part is the teachers reaching out. I thought this was a good one, and I did mention this in Isabel's discussion right now. An incompetent counselor, she won't be available. If you ask her a question, perhaps she might not know what you're talking about. She may give you the wrong information. Or 3, she just may say, okay, I'll get back to you, and then she doesn't get back to you either because 1, she forgets, or 2, she just says that just so that to avoid a conversation and she can go do whatever she has to do. That's what I'm assuming. But when a teacher reaches out to a counselor, an admin, I'm thinking of it as a teacher expects to 1, gain information from them, to relieve their issue that they're having. It could be a small one, like, oh my gosh, what do I do with this part here in this 504 document? Or what do I do here when a student consistently is saying negative remarks and we've already had a parent conference and things like that. You expect to go to the counselor and have her resolve your issue in a way. You expect to go to the counselor and get a good, appropriate response to be able to help you with what you're dealing with. So that could be one. And then if an incompetent counselor, like how you had mentioned, the teachers would feel frustrated. They would feel like they're not being listened and heard to and given the time to. And like you had mentioned, they would feel like it's up to them. They have to do it on their own to provide the students these services, on top of everything else that they already have to do and on top of all the hats that they already wear. So teachers do expect the counselor to be there for them, to show up, to be consistently on campus. I know emergencies do happen, so that's a different story, especially if I'm just assuming if a counselor is pregnant and she has a newborn, that's probably a different situation. And I wonder if, I don't think they actually have substitute counselors or substitute admin. I think I had seen that online somewhere this week. But yes, and then I'll just say the last part. And makes competent counselor. What makes a competent counselor? I really like how you had said they look at the value of the indirect and direct services. They are reflective and open, and they're going to take the time to see what they're doing and be honest with themselves and see what's working, what's not, and just evaluating themselves consistently and continually to be open to feedback and growing and doing what it takes to provide a better counselor for themselves and for the school. Also, they use data, like you had mentioned. And the last part is, I really like this one, that they provide students services equally. So it's about equity and believing in all the students, not just the high academic ones or the ones that are maybe your culture and your race, but all students. So I'll just go ahead and stop here and thank you for sharing and see you next week.